You can go in for the beer and some food, and there's always music, so it gets quite festive and everyone's singing, and the tents close at 11 p.m. So even if people do drink a bit too much, they're kind of out the door and on their way home by 11 p.m. So it's pretty harmless.
Right. It's one of the biggest festivals, right? In Germany,
it's huge.
Oktoberfest. And actually, when we spell Oktoberfest, we don't spell it in the standard American English way, O-C-T-O. How do you spell Oktoberfest?
Well,
there?
German way of spelling it is with a K. So it's
Okay. That's right. Not an OC, right? Okay. I'm going to take a shooting star break for a moment here. So often in Germany, when we have this big celebration, it's called Oktoberfest. And 우리가 OCT 이렇게 스펠링 철자를 안 하고요. OKT, so Oktoberfest. And so this is very big in Germany. And so not only is it only celebrated in Germany, we have it sometimes here in Korea. Different hotels, different places have Oktoberfest. And so, you know, it's a really big gathering and celebration. What's the original celebration? Harvest? Is that the reason or what?
I think it has a kind of disjointed history because it used to be, I think, a farmer's market, and then it was interrupted during the, you know, there were the various world wars and European wars. So I think the tradition and the size of it as an event now is really only since, you know, post World War II.
Wow. Now, are you right into the Oktoberfest yourself, and do you go into the festivities?
I do. It's lovely to go with friends, and if you're really lucky, you get a table or a booth, and that's the best thing. But you have to book like a year ahead. It's a very popular festival. So if you have a table and you can go with friends, then it's a really nice event. Yeah.
Wow. Now, I know in every Oktoberfest they have the tapping of the keg, where they have the big wooden thing and they, you know, pound the keg to open it, and then they all yell something. So what is this greeting that they yell when that happens? Do you know?
It's something in Bavarian dialect. I'm not going to be able to remember right now. Orzops or something. It's something that means the tap. You know, it's on now. It's ready to go. I think that's what it means. It's Bavarian dialect, which I'm not too good at. I speak regular German, so.
Oh, wow. But it's interesting to see Oktoberfest everywhere in different countries and to be celebrated as well,
Yeah,
too.
there are many countries who like beer.
And Korea being one of them, right?
So a lot of people think yoga is all about stretching, which is true. But it's not a requirement to be flexible before you come to yoga. Actually, let's all take the back foot with the right hand. What happens is you start doing yoga and you become more flexible. You get more in touch with your breathing, which is highly relaxing and calming for the mind and spirit. And it's not all about flexibility. So let's go into down dog, Gyeongsang. There's also a lot of poses where it's about strength. Plank pose. For example, this next pose we're going to do, Chaturanga Dandasana. These kind of poses are really about strength. Cobra. And you get to do some back bending. The whole body gets a workout. And back to down dog. Gyeongsang. So the best thing to do is start exploring and trying different yoga styles and find out what you like to do, the more strong practices or the more relaxing practices or the more stretching practices.
Wow. So in each classroom, usually a standard yoga class, about how many people, you know, take this? And you're instructing instructors, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the training I'm running currently is, well, it's not that only instructors can attend, but particularly here in Korea, it tends to be only instructors who are that willing to commit the time and really make space in their lives to attend a intense training like that for 6 days.
Wow.
So most of the people in the trainings here tend to be teachers already, and they're just looking for further education and more input and more knowledge and more experience with yoga, and they want to practice with, you know, a teacher who maybe is experienced in a different area of the yoga. So it can vary. Some of the trainings, those longer trainings that might be 16 people, 20 people, 25 people, sometimes we've had 30 people, and then the room is pretty full.
Wow.
And for regular classes, it really just depends on the time of day. So evening classes tend to be, quite packed because that's when most people have time after work.
Right.
And I see at the studio that during the day the pregnancy classes are very busy too for pregnant ladies. So just generally it seems that yoga is very popular and the classes are, generally well frequented.
Wow, interesting. So, do they also, have they built up, class for men, or is there everything yoga for children?
I don't know about here in Korea, but certainly where I live, there are teachers who specialize in running courses for children. So obviously those yoga classes are very playful. And also there are people who offer classes for men specifically. But I think my feeling is that the guys prefer to come to a class where there's women too.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah, definitely so.
So my vision for teaching yoga is that I really believe there's a way that we as human beings can shift and become happier and healthier and more relaxed, more joyous. And yoga is one of the ways I've experienced, one of the systems or methods I've experienced that make that possible. So my vision really for the world, or my hope, is to see more people pain-free in their bodies, pain-free emotionally, psychologically, and really able to engage fully in their lives, because that's the way it should be. We should be happy, we should be enjoying life, and that's my vision.
Wow, so that's a great vision. You're really, I think you are doing what you are, kind of apted to do for the world.
I hope so. It was kind of never my plan. People asked me to teach, and I never tried to create the demand for my teaching. It all kind of happened quite naturally. Even coming to Korea, it was not my plan to, teach in Korea this often or at all, actually. It just happened very naturally. So I think that's always a sign that you're on the right track, if doors kind of just open by themselves.
Right. Wow. Interesting. Is there anything in your life that you could go back and redo again? Is there, any kind of regrets in your life, or things that you can just kind